Andy Aledort, and in this edition of In Deep, we're going to talk about playing slide guitar and playing slide guitar in standard tuning. As many of you know, slide guitar is often played in open tunings. The most commonly used open tunings are E or A, or the same structure of tuning down a whole step, which would be D or G. But playing slide in standard tuning is extremely useful. I can tell you in my own case, when I got hired by Dickie Betts to go on tour with him, I was so excited to be able to recreate Duane Allman's slide parts, or do my best to, anyway, play slide guitar on those tunes in open E the way Duane had. So I brought my SG, and what I discovered during the very first gig was that Dickie didn't give me any time to switch guitars, change tuning, anything. He would just turn around and say the song we were going to play and start counting. And so by the second gig, I realized I should just play slide in standard tuning because, you know, it's going to make life a lot easier if I do it that way. Now, there are things that you miss out on when you play in standard tuning, because when you have the structure of the chord as the tuning, the slide obviously can lay across all the strings, and you get fuller chords and triads and all kinds of things that we're familiar with when we hear Duane Allman play slide, or Derek Trucks, who always plays an open E. But let's do it in terms of standard tuning, just because I have found, for practicality's sake, it's so useful to get accustomed to playing slide in standard tuning. We'll start with some basic tenets of slide technique, and then we'll get into some shapes and patterns and scales and riffs. All right, so I'm in standard tuning: E, A, D, G, B, E. So if I were to play a normal E minor pentatonic scale, you would play it in the typical way. If I did that with the slide, and it's good to practice that way too. If we ascend the neck, with the slide, so one thing you may notice is I keep the pick in my hand, but I sort of cup it in this index finger, and then I use finger picking. And I'm going between the thumb and the ring finger. That's what's comfortable for me. The reason I like to keep the pick there is in case I want to switch to using the pick. It's always there at the ready, and I can finger pick comfortably. So that's another good thing to practice. Now, when you play through that entire scale, a thing to keep in mind is every note that you sound with the slide, picking the note and stopping the note are part of sounding the note. So you don't just pick it, you have to stop it. This way, when you go to the next note, you'll have a little space there. So each successive note will sound clearly. They don't slide into each other. I mean, unless that's a sound you want. It's better to learn to control it so you don't have that sliding sound between the notes. So that takes practice to get that. The other important thing, the slide should be directly over the fret wire. You can either keep the slide parallel to the fret wire, as some players like to do. You don't have to, though. If you watch Derek Trucks or Son House, they are always at an angle like this. The point is that that one little spot on the bottom of the slide, that's directly over the fret, even when I hold the slide on a diagonal. So the front of the slide, the bottle, is higher than directly over the fret, and the back of the bottle is behind, as opposed to everything being lined up. You don't have to have it lined up. I just want to make that point. The other thing is, a lot of players like to mute behind the slide with a finger. And here I'm using my middle finger to do that. And that's a good thing to do too. You don't have to, though, if your right hand, pick hand, muting is good enough. Every picture of Duane Allman, his fingers are out like that. So you can see there's no muting behind the slide. But because I'm bridging, I only let the string that has the note on it be the one that's allowed to sound. And I'll block the other strings around it. If I'm on the high E string, then I'm blocking everything with my thumb in that way. If I'm on the low string, I'm blocking all the strings with the fingertips. All right, so I'm going to play to a backing track now and just play some licks to give you an idea of things you can play in standard tuning with a slide to get you started on this concept. 1, 2, 3. All right, I started up here. Top 2 strings. So, and then I did a little bounce off. That's a nice slide technique thing where you bounce off a lower string. Then over the 5 chord, I went here. 4 chord. So as you play through all these licks, make sure you stay above that fret for proper intonation. And with your vibrato, be sure to have a nice, relaxed, even sounding vibrato. Where the slide travels above and behind the fret wire in equal amounts.